And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia. What's happening?
Today we're taking a look at an expansion for this Zen-like game, Tokaido. This game was really popular. The whole moving on a linear route. Well, the expansion is a lot smaller than the original game.
Yes, it is. Tokaido Crossroads. More Zen goodness.
I was actually... when they announced the expansion, I was like, does this game even need an expansion?
What could they possibly add?
Are you adding like another track at the end? Let me show you what they've added. So what the expansion adds is an entirely new board with a stack of cards on each of these sections. And what this board does is, with the exception of the ends, each spot on the board now offers two different possibilities. So let's go through the different ones that you can do. First of all, whenever you stop at a farm, the farms normally give you 3 coins. You can take 3 coins, or you can gamble now. When you gamble, you give up 2 coins, you give those to the bank, and then you roll the gambling die. If you roll an X, well, tough luck, you just lost your coins. If you roll times 1, you get your coins back. If you roll times 2, you get them back, and you get 2 more coins. And if you roll times 3, you get them back plus 4, and if you roll 4 times 4, you get them back plus 6 more coins. So really only the times 3s and 4s are better than just taking 3 coins, but gambling works and you have to have some coins to pull that off. When you stop at any panorama spot, instead of taking the corresponding panorama card, you can take a cherry tree card. Each cherry tree card is worth 1 coin, gives you 1 coin and 2 points. Sometimes you don't feel like finishing that panorama or whatever, so these are here until they run out. You can take as many of those as you want. When you stop at a hot springs or a bathhouse, instead of taking a hot springs card, which if you remember are 2 or 3 points, you can take one of these cards, which are worth 4 points. Problem is, these cost a coin to do so. So again, that's up to you. You can take 4 points for a coin or 2 or 3 points for free. When you stop at a temple, instead of giving money up, you can instead pay and take an amulet card. Amulet cards are here, and you basically look at all these cards, and you'll pay a coin to take one of these cards, and they're single-use cards. For example, here, when you're in the lead, you can use this card later on to go again. Here, when you go to a space, you can take both options on that space. Here, you can trade your meal card, take your meal card for free when you stop at an inn. So these are like one-time actions that you can buy whenever you go to a temple. When you go to a shop, you can take the souvenirs, or you can go for a legendary object. These are going to be much more expensive objects, possibly, that can add to your sets. There's an extra set that can take a set all the way up to 9 now, and some that are just worth 8 points that you can buy. And then finally, whenever you go to have an encounter, you can take, besides an encounter card, you can take one of these calligraphy cards here, and these are extra points at the end of the game. Again, these cost money, so this will give you 3 for every uneaten meal. This one here gives you 2 for every remaining coin that you have at the end of the game. These are just extra points. So that's basically all the game adds, except it adds some more people. This gentleman here starts with no money, but every time he lands in a panorama, he gets a coin. This guy here can gamble a single coin with the gambling die every time he's at the end. This guy gets extra points based on how good he is. He's the gourmet eater. And so you can see we have various other people. Some of them let you take both actions when you go to certain spots. And again, so they're really only usable with the expansion. But that's what the expansion adds. All right, what do you think here?
All right, so here was my initial impression was largely what we just said, which was, I'm not sure what this expansion could possibly bring to the table. And at first blush, I thought, okay, so basically what they're doing is they're adding basically twice as many, they have twice as many options now. Every single thing you could do before, you can now do 2 things. That is literally twice as many things, which concerns me because I feel it pushes the game out of where it lived, which was great game for non-gamers, great introductory gateway style game with now too much. However, stepping back from that observation, for me, this makes a better game.
I don't know what I can say now since Z just said exactly really what I thought too. And in fact, this is one of those times where I would deliberately keep this expansion separate from the base game.
Right.
If I was teaching new people the game, I would definitely play the base game with them and not even mention that this existed. Gamers, I throw this in the mix because it does add more options. Now realize when you add more options, it takes away from the Zen-like experience.
It does.
No longer do you say, ooh, should I go there or there? Now you're like, should I go there? And then I'll pick up the stack of cards and look through that stack of cards and pick one of those. That's a whole lot more options.
Right.
It actually more than doubles the options.
It does, because there are stacks you can look through and pick the one card you need, yes.
And then you have those cards that you can play.
Right.
So when's the best time to play them? So it makes it much more gamery. It's still not a heavy game by any means.
Right.
But it's very different.
I agree. I think that's a good observation. This is not one of those expansions you say, ooh, more good stuff, throw it right in. No, and in fact, there's people who might not be interested in this, in making that game experience more complicated, giving their players more options. But if you are a gamer, if you enjoy the game already and are thinking it could use a little bit more of a bite, this is the bite you're looking for.
Now, Leslie, it sounds like we're negative. I'm not. For me, playing Tokaido, I would never want to play without the expansion, other than teaching new people the game. Because I really like the two choices. I love the gambling. I'm just a sucker for that.
Right, and I like the endgame scoring conditions. I think are great. I love being able to pick up the stack, picking what you want, and then seeing if you can make it by the end of the game. That's wonderful. More options for the endgame.
So I think a lot of people are going to like this expansion. Maybe it's a next step thing too. Someone gets into gaming with Tokaido, they buy it, it's like, ooh, gaming is bigger than I thought. So there's that possibility. Anyway, it's still there's a lot of expansion here really for such a small box.
Right.
If you like Tokaido and want it more strategy, A+. If you're looking for more of the same, play it first, I think, before you buy it.
Right, I agree.
Crossroads.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.